together.
Yeah,
Chuy. How are you? How are you doing? My Irish friends are here. Yes, my Muslim friends are here. My Jewish friends are here. Everybody's here.
everybody is for you, Chuy. Chuy.
Oh, yes. I'm ready to go.
He's ready.
All right.
Chuy right here. Chuy right here.
Eso. What do you want?
All right, Stephanie.
Good morning, Chicago. What a great day it is today. My name is Stephanie Gatlin. I'm an activist. I am a Chicago resident. I'm a mother. I'm a grandmother. And I am an enthusiastic supporter for Jesús Chuy García. Politics is the process that determines who gets what, when they get it, and by what means. People of Chicago understood that in 1983 and in 1987 when we elected and re-elected Harold Washington as Chicago's first African-American mayor. Jesús Chuy García stood by Mayor Washington's side. Together, they fought the obstructionist and at times racist Chicago City Council in order to ensure that those of us who have been left out, overlooked, and ignored for so long could have opportunities, jobs, investment, and a fighting chance. Chuy was loyal to our mayor, and he was loyal to our community. Dr. King once said that people have short memories. So often, we have to remind folk of the past so that they can fight for the future. Jesús Chuy García has worked side by side in the movement for justice since the days of his youth in 1965. In Chicago, he has stood for voting rights. In Chicago, he has fought for affordable housing. He has stood up to police misconduct and worked to end the senseless violence that has taken so many lives. He fights for workers and for first responders, and he has lent his voice and energy to the fight for a living wage. He is an advocate for clean, renewable communities that are free from environmental racism. As a community activist and organizer, and as a teacher and college professor, he has been on the front lines fighting, working, leading, following, organizing, and also encouraging young people along the way. His lifelong commitment to public service has reminded us, like the Baptist preacher says, that faith without works is dead.
That's right.
That is why when my friend, the late Teachers Union President Karen Lewis, was diagnosed with brain cancer and ended her 2015 campaign for mayor, she asked him to step into her place, and then she put her full support behind Chuy. Karen, that's right.
Step on the gas.
Karen.
God rest her soul.
Yes.
That's right.
Karen told me that Chuy, having served at all levels of local government, including as an alderman, a county commissioner, and a state senator, had the experience, the vision, and the creative energy needed to lead and manage a great and complex city like Chicago. He would be ready to lead on day one. Karen Lewis went on to tell us that she was convinced that the city is going in the wrong direction and that Chicago deserves leadership that is accountable and accessible. She told us that Jesús Chuy García had the moral courage to do what is necessary to bring equity and justice to all of us. She said Chuy is a great unifier, able to work with those on LaSalle Street while not forgetting those on Loomis Boulevard. A world-class city deserves a world-class progressive mayor. Aaron believed in 2015, and I believe today. When Harold ran in 1982, my elders stood at a podium just like this and said, "We shall see in 83. And I'm standing here today and saying it will be in 2023. That's right. Chicago deserves leadership that believes in fairness, one who is committed to justice, one who understands the benefits of building multiracial, multi-ethnic coalitions, while also acknowledging the systemic challenges we all face. Democracy is messy, y'all. Sometimes it's loud, sometimes contentious, but now more than ever, the people of this city and this nation understand that democracy is necessary. We must pull together. Black people, we're not a monolith. We're very diverse. But I can tell you that Black residents of this city want the right to live our lives in a just, compassionate, and caring society where both the individual and families can thrive. We want jobs and equal opportunity, better schools, and safe neighborhoods. We want access to capital and healthy foods and health care. We want to be treated as equal partners and not as if we're some petulant child to be scolded and made examples of every time the cameras roll. We want a mayor who is tough and smart and has a creative vision, someone who speaks the language of the people. Chuy understands that our neighborhoods and the people in our neighborhoods, be it Inglewood or Austin or Lawndale or Chatham or Garfield Park or Roseland or Allgale Gardens or Bronzeville or Woodlawn, all of us, everyone, everywhere, we deserve a seat at the table. Yes. Southside, if you hear me, it is time. West Side, do you hear me? The time is now. Change is on the horizon. The tide is rising. Rising tides lift all boats. And Chuy understands that due to hatred and fear, that some of us are just merely surviving and barely hanging on to life rafts. And today we're here to say we need a life preserver. Jesús Chuy García will be the next mayor of Chicago. One that is inclusive, one that is just, one that is fair, and one that works for all the people who live, work, and play here. It will be in 2023.
Chuy is ready.
All right.
Chuy, 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 Chuy.
I guess. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
My name is Edwin Eisendrath, and as a young man, I served in the city council with Chuy. I quickly saw that while many were out for themselves, he was just out for people. And boy, think of the years that have passed since then, what he's gone on to do in Springfield, at the county, running a nonprofit, in our Congress. He has never changed the direction. He has always put people first.
Yes.
And let's be real here. Everybody knows our communities are less safe. Our schools are more troubled. Our transit is less reliable. We don't need to argue about this. You see it everywhere. Everybody knows it in every neighborhood. It's time to stop the bleeding and start the healing, and I know no person better to do that than Chuy. This is an all-hands-on-deck moment for our city. Look, talent, we have a lot of it in Chicago, right? But it can't be sitting on the sidelines. It's got to be part of the solution. And this man has spent his years building on-ramps so that everybody who cares, everybody who has the energy to make a difference, has the chance to participate in making our city better. You want someone who can bring people in. Chuy is a uniter. He builds relationships. He doesn't burn them. Yes. You know? We're gonna need help in Springfield. We're going to need help in Washington, D.C. We're going to need our great business community to be part of the answer to help us heal. There is no one better at that than Chuy. There's there'll be time for that. Look, there's something else everybody in Chicago knows. We like our mayors strong, right? Chuy doesn't start fights, but he doesn't shy away from them. I've seen him in a fight, and you don't want to bet on the other guy. You know? But there's another kind of strength, one that really matters if you're going to lead a great city. You have to know the difference between being a soloist and being the conductor of the orchestra. It takes a calmer courage to make people work together, to bring out their best, to answer not just the challenges we have, but to have the vision to see the opportunities that are in front of us. Chicago is a beautiful, great city, going through tough times. I'm confident we have the talent, if we can put it to use, if we can welcome them in, if we can lower the temperature and do the work. There's nothing that can stop us. So, like many Chicagoans, Chuy, I'm honored to stand here with you to launch this campaign. Now, I want to introduce somebody else before Chuy, and that is State Rep Teresa Ma. Teresa's in her 4th term. She's co-chair of a doubling in size Asian American caucus. And you know what? When I asked her what she was most proud of in Springfield, before she went to legislation, before she went to policy, her answer was, you know what? I found a way to connect the people in my community to what we do in government, to help make government work for everybody. That's the kind of people that Chuy's bringing together. Folks who understand how to make government do its job and help people up. Teresa.
All right.
Hello. Hello. On behalf of the Southwest Progressive Coalition, I welcome all of you to this morning's historic occasion. I'm State Representative Teresa Ma. I represent the new 24th State House District, which includes Chinatown, Pilsen, Bridgeport, Armour Square, Brighton Park, McKinley Park, Back of the Yards, and Canaryville. Although each of our neighborhoods is diverse, one thing rings true for all of us. We are proud to be Chicagoans. Regardless of where you were born or when you came to this country, Chicago is our home. And we want the best for our families and communities. That includes supporting strong leaders who will lead with integrity and govern with compassion. Chicago needs someone who can bring us together while remaining committed to our values as a city. That's why I stand with you today in support of Congressman García. He has opened doors to many of us here and has broken ceilings once thought unbreakable. In 2015, when I worked on staff for Chuy's mayoral campaign, I got a firsthand look at the diverse coalition of support that came together behind him. It was inspiring, but not surprising. And with his support in 2016, we made history when I became the first elected Asian American to the Illinois General Assembly. I support Chuy because of his ability to bring people together, build coalitions, and considered and consider the lived experiences of different communities. This is especially important for serving the immigrants, seniors, and those with limited English ability who make up a large portion of my constituents, our mutual constituents in this area we both serve. We need a mayor who listens to the needs of the people, who has the vast political experience to garner resources for our city, someone with integrity, who keeps promises, and who knows how to work well with everyone in order to get the job done. I have known and worked closely with Chuy for over a decade, and I could not be more proud or more passionate about supporting him for what he is about to do today. I introduce to you my Congressman, the next mayor of the city of Chicago, Chuy García.
El alcalde.
It is quite evident that the winds of change are blowing across the city of Chicago this morning. Yes. Thank you to my three friends that have opened up today's announcement. And good morning, muy buenos días to all of you.
Buenos días.
Thank you for joining me today. From one vibrant neighborhood to the next, from our skyline to Lake Michigan, there is no other place like Chicago. And I'm proud to call this city my home. And more importantly, our home. A home where we recognize our indigenous beginnings and pay respect to our Black immigrant founder, Jean-Baptiste Point du Sable. It's a city that makes you carry yourself a certain way because you know you're part of something big. You feel it when you ride the L or when you drive down the Eisenhower or Lakeshore Drive, or when you catch a glimpse of the city on your way to Midway or O'Hare. It's knowing that we're the city of broad shoulders, the city where the labor movement was born and the 8-hour day. Our Chicago. Our pride in calling Chicago home is what binds us together. We hope for a safer, more prosperous Chicago because we and the city deserve it. That's why today I'm announcing my candidacy for mayor of the city of Chicago. You know, I've had many titles in my life. Community organizer, county commissioner, alderman, state senator, and now congressman. But the most important title to me is Chicagoan. Yep. Little Village on the southwest side has been my home for the past 53 years. And it's where I met the love of my life. It's where I met Evelyn, and it's where we raised our 3 children. When I walk down 26th Street, I see the hustle and bustle of our vibrant neighborhoods. Fresh fruits, street vendors, and kids at play. I feel at home. I feel proud. But Chicago is at a crossroads. It's not like that for everyone. Chicago needs a leader with the vision of our future and the know-how and the empathy to get us there together. From crime to unemployment to the shortage of affordable housing, there is so much that we need to build. As we emerge from a global pandemic and a racial reckoning that exposed the painful history of inequity in our city. People are still living paycheck to paycheck, and folks are living in fear of losing their homes, their livelihood, and yes, even their loved ones. As a father, a husband, and a proud grandfather of 7 grandkids, I know how daunting the future can be. That feeling when you wake up at night or sit at the kitchen table and wonder, what's next? Where do we go from here? But this is the moment that calls on each of us to keep the faith, because we are in this together, and together we can bring a new dawn for Chicago. Because that's just who we are. It's who we've always been. Chicago keeps going because Chicago's got grit. And I want you to know the last time I felt this hopeful was during my years at St. Rita High School, at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and later as an organizer with the late, great Rudy Lozano and Mayor Harold Washington. So I'm full of optimism. So we organize. Latinos, Black, white, and Asian people, working class people, immigrants, and people of all colors and creeds, Muslims and Hindus and Jews and many others, including those who don't believe, but we still pray for them. And we all came together to elect Chicago's first reform and Black mayor. And after my friend and mentor, Rudy Lozano, was assassinated, I was drafted and elected to the Chicago City Council, where we ended a period known as council wars. And thanks to the good grace of Harold Washington, I became the chairman of the Aviation Committee at age 28. And we replaced a divided city with a united, thriving community. And we ushered in an era of city government that worked for all of us. Mark my words. My values and my commitment to build a better, more inclusive Chicago has never wavered. I'm the only candidate in the race with the experience of serving this city at every level of government. And when I went to Congress, I delivered. I helped author President Biden's bipartisan infrastructure plan, the American Rescue Plan that saved our city and state from recession. And I helped craft the Inflation Reduction Act to bring down everyday costs while reducing the budget deficit, and of course, countless initiatives to make us sustainable and a greener country and society and world. I helped deliver stimulus checks, lower prescription drug costs, and billions of dollars for our city and state. And now, Chicago, I'm coming home. Sweet home, Chicago. Because Chicago deserves a fair share and someone to be a good steward of our finances. And as your next mayor, I will bring my decades of leadership and experience to bring us together and to turn our city around for the better together. And when it comes to economic development and keeping Chicago the world-class city that it is, we need to attract new business and development, and we need to keep manufacturing right here, sweet home Chicago. We should be able to look across our skyline and see cranes and new growth, as well as equitable development in our neighborhoods, bringing new good-paying union jobs, new retail, and new vitality to our city. I want to see our city grow and thrive, and I want to see our children and grandchildren raise families right here in Chicago, to be able to dream of starting a small business or buying their first home, just like we did. But first, we've got to get a handle on the violence and crime in our city. Chicagoans are more worried than ever. The rate of carjackings, armed robberies, and unsolved homicides is alarming. We need a leader who has the lived experience of our neighborhoods. We need a leader who understands that violent prevention and reduction starts in our neighborhoods with investments in mental health, jobs, and our youth. And that's exactly why I work to start a nonprofit on the Southwest Side called Enlace Chicago. To do that hard work of community building, which needs to be done everywhere in Chicago, because families need and deserve to feel safe. Business leaders need to be assured that Chicago is safe for their employees and their bottom line, and that they should invest even more wholeheartedly. Whether you live on the lakefront, the south side, the west side, or right in my own La Villita, every Chicagoan wants a police force that provides public safety in a manner deserving of support and respect of our city and all of its residents as well. We need to rebuild trust between communities and law enforcement, and it starts with investing in quality officer training, diverse hiring, and mental health services for our residents and our officers, because we care about them. But it also means accountability and transparency for those that fail to protect and serve. Chicagoans deserve to know that when you walk out of your door and head to work, send your kids to school, your family is safe. And when it comes to environment, there's no question about it. I envision a Chicago that leads the way in our fight against climate change, a Chicago that promotes equitable growth across its neighborhoods, a city where black and brown aren't dumping grounds for polluters, and I'll say it, a city where black and brown communities are not dumping grounds for polluters, and a city where every child grows up with clean air and clean water. A Chicago with the new well-kept green spaces and parks, and a city where affordability is a real priority, so that gentrification and displacement is not inevitable or an outcome of growth and development. When it comes to our students, our schools, and our future, it's about time we double down on education. As a father and grandfather, I care what happens to our kids. Your zip code, race, and socioeconomic status should not determine your future. And let's not forget our courageous teachers. It's time that we treat them with dignity and respect and the value they have earned and deserve. During the pandemic, I stood with our teachers and students, and as your mayor, I will keep standing with them.
Yes.
When I look out and see you all, I see Chicago. I see the faces of hardworking Chicagoans, and I see hope. I see a city brimming with opportunity, young people, and people who were there with Rudy and me and Harold in the 80s fighting for change. Right, Stephanie? Edwin, you've come here for me, but more importantly, you've come here for your family, for the future of our city, our home, our Chicago, and for that, I am humbled. Now is the time to revitalize our neighborhoods, strengthen our schools, and bring safety back to our streets, because we believe in a Chicago for everyone, a welcoming Chicago. The same Chicago that welcomed me as a 9-year-old immigrant boy and gave me a fighting chance to dream big. Look at how much I have dreamed and how much I have gathered with all of these friends. And as our movement did 40 years ago this day, we are standing together to say it's time for City Hall to work on behalf of all its people and all its neighborhoods. Chicago needs a mayor that has walked in the shoes of everyday Chicagoans. A mayor who has the experience in city council, in Springfield County Board, and Washington, D.C. A mayor who will bring together and unite instead of driving us apart. And I intend to be that mayor. A mayor for all who call this great city home. Because what this campaign is about is building a brighter future for Chicago together. So I'm asking you to join this coalition of believers. If you believe that we can build a better tomorrow than today, then I'm asking you, join this campaign. Text 33339. 33339. Together, let's get Chicago back on track. Together, let's build a Chicago for all. Juntos, un Chicago para todos y todas. Muchas gracias.